Okay, algebra. So today we are going to do multiplying polynomials, which is something that we've seen before, but I'm going to re-show you a couple of times. When we see two parentheses right next to each other, we're going to create a box. When I do that, my first parenthesis goes on top, my second parenthesis goes on the side, and I'm going to multiply 2x times x to get 2x squared. Okay, I'm going to multiply 2x times 7 to get 14x. I'm going to multiply negative 1 times x to get negative x. I'm going to multiply negative 1 times 7 to get negative 7. Okay. When I do this, I'm going to pull everything out of the box and I'm going to rewrite it. I'm writing backwards just because it's a little easier for me to find my colors that way. But most people would write this as the 2x squared plus the 14x minus the x minus the 7. Okay, so they would do it in that order. 2x squared stays by itself. The 14x minus x becomes 13x minus 7. That's my final answer. Notice that this is in that standard form we're looking for. Okay, next one. So I'm going to make a box. That's step 1. Step 2 is write my first parenthesis on top, my second parenthesis on the side. 2 times 4 is 8. X times x makes x squared. 2 times 3 makes 6x. Negative 6 times 4 makes negative 24x. Negative 6 times 3 makes negative 18. When I do this, those get to add together. So I'm showing you in the box this time instead of pulling them all out. I have 8x squared. 6x minus 24x gives me negative 18x minus 18. So all I did was I added this box with this box to get that number. Notice that this is in standard form. That's my answer. Okay, so next one over. I'm going to create a box. I'm going to write my top with the first parenthesis. I'm going to write my side with the second parenthesis. I get 7x cubed. 5 times x makes 5x. 7 times negative 2 makes negative 14. X squared. Negative 2 times a positive 5 makes a negative 10. Notice that 7x squared times x is like 7x times x times x, which turns into that x to the third. Now when I look right here, those are not like terms because this is an x and that has a squared. So this actually cannot happen. It's not allowed. So I'm going to go rewrite all of these. 7x cubed minus 14x squared plus 5x minus 10. This one has to go before that one because the 2 is larger than nothing there. Okay. Let's do D. Make a box. Negative 3x plus 4, 2x plus 1. Negative times a positive makes a negative 6. X times x makes x squared. 4 times 2 is 8. It brings an x with it. Negative 3 times 1 makes negative 3x. 1 times 4 makes 4. Negative 6x squared plus 8x minus 3x plus 4. Right here I combine like terms. I get a 5x for negative 6x squared. You are more than welcome to combine like this to get to the 5x. It's your choice. So here's a little tricky. Here you have a couple of choices. We either do parentheses first and make a box and then multiply, or we distribute into only one parenthesis. I'm going to do it this way. 2x minus 1, 3x plus 1. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. 3 times negative 1 makes negative 3x. 2 times positive 1 makes 2x. 1 times negative 1 makes negative 1. 6x squared minus x minus 1. Not my final answer because this needs to be brought down and put outside of parentheses. When I do this, you've done this so many times, you're just going to distribute in. I get 24x squared minus 4x minus 4. Final answer. So I'm moving here. Same thing, I'm still going to do my parentheses first. I'm going to go turn them into multiplication. I get x minus 3, 2x plus 1. But I have to remember that later on I have a 3x on the outside of my answer. Okay, so I have 2x times x makes 2x squared. I have 2x times negative 3 makes negative 6x. I have x times 1 makes x. I have 1 times negative 3 makes negative 3. This gives me 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. I need to go and distribute in. And I get 6x squared minus 15x squared minus 9x. And I made a mistake as I was talking. So right here is my mistake because an x times an x squared really becomes an x to the third. Okay. Then you need to go through and you need to find your greatest common factors, and you can do this. So you're looking for what they have in common. They have a 4 in common, and they have a p in common, and they have 3 of those p's in common. That's my GCF. So when I do that, my 4p to the third comes to the outside. 16 divided by 4 is 4. P to the fourth divided by p to the third becomes p. 4 divided by 4 cancels. P to the third divided by p to the third cancels, but they don't get to just go nowhere. I need to say that there is a 1 there. Okay. Make sure that you have a negative on this one because it's got a negative on the outside. Same here, make sure you have a negative on this one because it's got a negative on the outside. When I look at this, this is extra credit. So is number 4. On the next page, you are going to skip this. We'll do it when I come back. Okay? We're going to skip this page. We'll do it when I come back. We're going to skip this page. We'll do it when I come back. Okay. After that, you see a factor completely. On that factor completely, you're going to use A, B, and C on all of those things. You're going to do some greatest common factor, and you can do it. Okay, you are getting as far through this packet as you can. You're answering as many questions as you can, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget that there is a quiz tomorrow on the quadratic formula. Don't forget that there is solving quadratics that is due tomorrow. So if you haven't finished your solving quadratics packet, you should do that first. Okay, and you have a quiz tomorrow. On A equals, B equals, C equals, including the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. You'll know that you'll be really good and you'll be fine for your quiz if you can do the problem 7x squared plus 52x plus 60. You know that you need a little help if you can't do that problem. And you want to try this problem instead of 5x squared minus 11x minus 12. The answer to the first question is negative 6 and negative 10 over 7. Okay.